Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Equipped, Bruised, Tired podcast. I am Bryce Krawcheck, one of your two hosts, and I'm here with my man, Ryan Stinn. How are we doing, Ryan?
I'm very well. Yes, good, excellent today.
Just had to stop and think about that for a second. How am I?
You know,
Yeah, we were just talking about some of the new IPF rule changes. So there's been a few. I think the big one will be the weight classes, right? What are your
obviously,
thoughts
yeah.
on that change? How does Rhea feel about that as a former 72 competitor?
I think she is. Yeah, I think she's kind of torn. Like, obviously, she won Worlds at 84 last year. So stay 84 or like naturally 72 was okay for her. She had found a way to kind of live at that weight.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she is a little tall for 72.
Yeah.
So, but maybe 76 is a little better.
Might fit her pretty well. Hey?
But then is it worth cutting down, or do you stay at 84? I mean, obviously it's not like, not like 84 is a pushover or anything, but
Yeah.
it's where you've had success, obviously. So
yeah,
she's kind of torn about that whole thing. I think it's an excellent change personally.
Overall,
just looking at like 63 to 72, like that's a 9 kilo jump. And 72 to 84 is a 12 kilo jump. Like those are just ridiculously large classes for women.
It makes way more sense just based on the scaling of all the other weight classes, right?
Yeah. And then the women only had 7 weight classes, right? So which a few years ago they'd added in the rule that you could send an 8th woman to Worlds, so that there was 8 women and 8 men on a team. Right. But then it was up to you to pick which weight class that was as a country. It just made more sense to add an 8th weight class. I had seen some rumored proposal weight classes. I think there was some better ones, but what ended up happening, like the only issue with this one to me is that obviously 72 kilo weight records are now abolished.
Right.
So a little unfair for the 72s.
Or at least retired, right?
Retired for sure. Yeah. But I'll ask you a question. In 2011, the weight classes changed. Where do you think those weight class records previous to 2011 are?
I don't know. I suppose like if you wanted to look them up, you could probably find them somewhere on OpenIPF if you like sorted by the old weight classes. I suppose. I don't know. Maybe.
But
you're right. I tried
to
look. It's not like they're prominently displayed on the IPF pages anymore, right?
So the other proposals I saw were changing of more weight classes. I think the one I thought was better was making the top female class higher, because 84 is not exactly a big person. Like so 84 totally plus is that's a huge class. So to have that be your top class, it's a you're not going to see a 90 kilo female win the 84 plus kilo class.
No,
it's going to be the 120 130 kilo women. And I know you can say about anything, for the men.
Yeah, I mean it's similar to the men,
kilos
right?
would be great. Yeah, good class.
Yeah.
But so I think it's a good move because the weight classes were definitely too wide there. And then to have for World Games, it makes sense because 72 was always alone. So there was always 10 72s at World Games versus split classes otherwise. So now there'll be 2 weight classes in all World Games classes.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I think it's a good change. I think it's just sucks to be a former 72 kilo lifter that held a record. And
that's absolutely, man. I think, I mean, going back to the plus category in and of itself, like it's the same thing in the men's side, but at least 120 is like, that's a pretty big guy. You know what I mean? Like that's a pretty big guy. You could have a 308 class, whatever that is. Is that what 140? Yeah. 140. And that's something that some of the other federations do that I think is like, yeah, that's good. Let's have a 140 and a 110 maybe, because I would love to be a 110. I feel like that's Bryce likes living there.
Like a 115 sort of thing.
Yeah.
112 and a half.
Yeah, but yeah, you do see guys, but probably 160 to 180. Like those are the guys that are going to be in the runnings in the 120 pluses, but.
Yeah, so you're looking at 60 kilos above the top class of the class start, right? You're talking like the 180s are the ones winning the class. Like that's a big Yeah, of course, it is what it is. You can't start your class at 160, so without having a million classes.
Yeah, exactly. And there were some other rule changes. We were the one about having to put the ref on the head side of the lifter.
Yeah, on the
And
bench
we were
press. I've never
wondering if anybody out there has ever seen somebody set their head referee at the feet. Let us know. That seems like something I've never thought could happen, but
it makes you
obviously
like
it must have happened at some point.
as a ref. You couldn't really see the touch.
You can't see anything. Yeah, and also you're a head referee.
That's
not
fair.
A foot referee, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's a different federation.
And then foot movement is now just permissible, which is good. I think that's
well defined.
Yeah, I think foot movement is generally not advantageous. So I really wish they would take the head rule on the bench away. I don't, and I guess I don't know. Maybe someone out there has more experience with me because I've always lifted in the IPF and it's always been you can't lift your head. But is it really helpful to lift your head?
I wonder if when you get into equipped benching, if the ability to kind of like loosen your chest plate by picking your head up is some kind of advantage. Because I think that's where a lot of that and when I started too, it was like, anybody who watches old Elite FTS videos or like old super training stuff, like you're going to overtuck your elbows like crazy. You're going to toe pick. You're probably going to use like this was me at my first meet. That's why I'm bringing this up. Like super overtucked, false grip, head up off the bench, toe picking. And for me, like I got into the warm up room and somebody was like, dude, you can't do any of those things. You need to change your whole bench right now or you're not going to get a lift in. And I think I still got called at least once for my head coming up.
Right.
So I don't think for like most raw lifters, lifting your head up and collapsing your chest is providing you any advantage. But maybe there are some scenarios where you could play that to your advantage if you're in a super, super tight shirt and you could like kind of pick up and get that little bit of a touch and then kind of reorient yourself to stretch the chest plate back out. I don't know how much that's actually worth having a rule like that though.
Yeah. I mean, the only time it's ever happened to me, like I've literally felt the shirt pull my head off the bench, right? Like it's not that I've lifted my head, but like here's my head, my head's lifting.
Like, well, and a lot of times you're looking at guys like Blaine and I mean, the dude is massive.
Right.
Like if he lays down and relaxes completely, his head might not touch the bench.
Right.
So it's not like he's actively picking it up. It's the fact that like to put his head on the bench, I'm just like this is pure conjecture, but I'm imagining he's got to like crane his head back to try to keep his head on the bench, and I mean that's
it takes you back.
That's just so uncomfortable, right?
It takes me back to Brian Siders.
Right.
Same thing. Always got called his head coming up because as soon as he brought the bar down, his head would come off the bench, and he ended up near the end of his career. He started setting up so his head was off of the end of the bench.
Oh, okay.
And like, there's no rule, I guess, that your head. Well, and it says your head has to be in contact with the bench.
Right.
I don't know. Like, I remember him doing this. Like, he was set up so far up the bench,
like getting around the rules a little bit like that.
Yeah, I mean, I say just grow out a mullet and.
Yeah, I was gonna say like get a little sort of like man bun top knot kind of
skullet
thing. Skullet, yes, that's the de facto choice. I need something to touch the bench. Let's just grow the back.
Yeah,
the front bald.
That's the way to go. Hey, some of us can't grow anything up there, all right? Like we only have so many choices.
Right.
So,
yeah. All right.
What other rules were there? You don't know.
You heard.
You don't have to present yourself at the first round of weigh-ins, which is good. Right. Actually, I got an argument in Ottawa at Nationals about this because I was, as per usual, doing my CCS recertification during weigh-ins because I had forgotten to do it to that point.
Right.
And I got yelled at by the referees that I didn't present myself at weigh-ins and I was going to be disqualified. I said, that's not a rule. And lo and behold, it was a rule. And a very stupid rule. So if you're off cutting weight, especially if the venue is not in the hotel you're staying at, You have to show up for the first round of weigh-ins, or your coach has to show up for the first round of weigh-ins. And if that's the only person that's with you while you're cutting weight hard in a sauna or something, it's a
Yeah.
dumb rule. I'm glad they
Yeah.
got rid of it. Sorry, referees, you have to wait around for an hour and a half. That's the reality of it.
I mean, that's kind of the way it goes anyways, because, I mean, I don't know. I guess I've never refed an international meet. I'm only a provincial referee, but like generally speaking, you're there anyways, and I'm pretty sure it's mandated in the like referee handbook that you have to be present and available for the whole weigh-in. So,
Well, that would be the
I mean, I don't know
expectation,
if
right?
that really saves anybody any time or anything.
But enough referees wanted to go have breakfast after weigh-ins that they put this rule in, is my only assumption.
Which I mean is also fair for a bunch of volunteers. Like,
Yeah,
I get that.
but yeah, if people have to cut weight, they have to cut weight. So
yeah,
I
exactly.
think that was the only other big change there. And then something about the technical controller will work with the championships secretary to make sure that international calendar works, basically. Which I don't know why it's a rule. It just seems like that should be a thing.
There was a bodysuit rule. Saying
yes, right.
Because initially, female lifters who chose to wear bodysuit couldn't use knee sleeves and knee wraps, and that was taken out of the rules.
Yeah.
So, which is good because, like, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to allow a bodysuit for any of the same reasons you allow some kind of like religious head covering, why should that person now suffer like a competitive disadvantage and not be able to use the equipment that's part of the sport?
Well, I think that they just took that out. Like, I don't think they can wear rule. They can no longer wear knee sleeves.
Oh, really? Maybe I misread that.
Yeah, let me just jump on it quick here. I could be wrong. I could have read it wrong. A female lifter is not allowed to use knee wraps. Oh, no, okay.
And that's the rule that was deleted. It was that they were not allowed to use
That's right.
Yeah. Which is the right choice.
Right. And I think that I feel like potentially the CPU had allowed that already. And that's why I was confused that rule was being changed, because I thought they had made it so that you weren't allowed to wear knee sleeves over a bodysuit. And I thought that's pretty.
Did they change it though because of that one? There was a British lifter, maybe somebody like snuck a squat suit underneath a bodysuit. This was at like I want to say a university championships
last year.
Yeah.
It was under a singlet.
Yes.
It could have been briefs. I don't know if I never heard a resolution to this, but the video got posted and got around, and either the person had a very interesting lower body build, or.
And was there a bodysuit involved in that or no?
No, I think it was just under a singlet.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Yeah. I was just wondering if that had any correlation to that rule being formed, but.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
So
cool. You said we didn't have any questions this week?
Nope, no questions. So, or not that I can find, at least. I do get some.
If they're out there, resubmit them because we lost them.
Yeah, occasionally I get them on Instagram, and I kind of just deal with them at the time, and and then they go into my list of messages, and I kind of lose track of them. So
that's fair. That's fair. How's training been?
Fine.
You're back in the bench shirt now. I can see the mark. I saw the marks on your arms there.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's visible.
There they are.
Got the tiger striping up the arm.
That's a good sleeve cuff right there.
Yeah, it was good. First week of a new block, and I kind of asked Mike. So Mike, I told him I wasn't quite ready to give up on that 227.5 bench, but that I kind of needed a break from heavy raw benching. So we're still heavy raw benching. But now we're also heavy equipment benching. So
feeling a little beat up from this heavy benching. How about a little bit more heavy benching?
So yeah, I don't know. My first day of the week is now still single at 8 for raw bench, then like a 4x4, and then I get to do 2 sets of squats now instead of just one. So 2 triples, which is I like triples. They're in the acceptable range of reps. I don't hate.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing on deadlifts now. So a couple triples. I'm supposed to add. My goal is 5 kilos added every week, and so if I can do that,
progressing pretty well still.
Yeah, everything's been pretty pain-free. Knock on wood.
Good.
So we'll hopefully be in the clear here at the end of the block, and kind of go from there. If I want to put some gear back on, or what I want to do, I don't know if we'll have any meets here at any point. So Not really sure. And then day 3 I get to put the bench shirt on and do 5 singles, and I had planned to put a bolt on. I have a couple of old Inzer bolts.
Oh, old ones, okay.
Yeah, and
the new ones came out, right?
Yeah,
the new ones are available now.
Which I snuck one into an order.
Nice.
Inzer.
That's exciting.
Ray had noticed it already, so it was
Not very
sneaky, I
sneaky
guess.
then.
Yeah, it didn't work very well. But so I don't know when that'll show up. It'll come with our next order, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. So I was going to throw on one of the old ones just to play around with, and then I pulled them out and remembered how sketchy they were looking, and that's why I put them away. So I'm like, well, let's just
around the seams.
Yeah. So we decided to put the katana on. So I think it was the shirt that I had worn for my first 2 attempts at nationals.
Right.
So and I worked up to 280 pretty comfortably. The one thing with the raw bench is I had changed to like a narrower foot stance with raw bench, and I'm not sure how I like that with equipped. So I kind of was playing with my feet a lot, trying to find the right kind of comfort position. But so there'll be a lot of working on the shirt this block, I think, and maybe that bolt will show up before the end and get to try that out. And
yeah, cool, man.
How about you? How's the you said you have a meet coming up here in a week now?
Like a week from tomorrow, I compete. Yeah. It's good. Like I'm finally starting to feel back in shape. Like I spent the whole block like just struggling through squatting like 340 to 350. And then last week squatted 370 or 375 and was like, oh, okay. Like it's back. Like we can still do this. Yeah, maybe I just had to go heavier. I was having some problems with my shoulder and my wrist and like trying to get my bar position right.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was like a weird chicken or the egg kind of situation with that, because if I just like force myself into the position I used to get into, it feels fine. But I had like kind of changed my position to be a little bit easier on my shoulders. And I think that ended up making my forearm like explode. And had some really bad bicep tendonitis throughout the block, and it was just like really annoying. But then for the 370, I was like, to hell with it. I'm just gonna like hit this ammonia and stuff myself under the bar, and it felt great. I was like, oh yeah, I do open around here. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, my raw pull is feeling really great. My equip pull is feeling okay, but my raw pull was feeling really good. Did some paused, got a pause doublet like 335. It felt like about a 6 or a 7 RPE, kind of nice and speedy. So we'll see. Raw bench is obviously a lot bigger than when I competed last. I don't know if that's going to carry over. I'm going to tighten my sleeves after today's episode. So we'll go into the meet with a little bit tighter sleeves. Yeah, tighten them just before the meet. I've done that a few times now, actually. Yeah. Just tighten them before the last workout, and hopefully she goes.
And if not,
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So I'm basically, my usual time to peak is 6 weeks, but this will be a 7-week block into this meet. So this last week I'm kind of like stretching over this week and a half. So I did my first 2 raw days earlier this week, and I'll do like a bunch of accessory work today, and then I'll basically put my last equipped exposure on Monday and do all my equipped openers, and then just have like a couple of little taper workouts before the meet. Try like resting really hard now that I'm at 120, and see if there's something to that. So I used to train pretty heavy, pretty consistently, pretty close to the meet. But yeah, see how it all goes. Man.
You still do an opener day, 6 days out, correct?
This would be 6 days out. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
usually it's
normal?
like 5 or 6 days. Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting. So that was something that I'd honestly never done an opener day before I ever worked with Blaine.
Okay.
And he does them 7 days out, 1 week out. And I didn't, I only did it once with him, and then I kept doing it afterwards, I guess. And then at one point I said, I don't like this. I found it too mentally, I had to get too mentally into it.
Okay.
And so like my old style, like initially we would heaviest deadlift about 17 days out, and then heaviest squat would be 14 days, heaviest bench 9 days sort of thing. So I kind of went to more of a modified version of that. When I started working with Mike, I kind of chatted with him. I said, hey, like, I don't really want to do an opener day 5 days out at all. Even 6 or 7 days, I'm not interested in. which he was good, and he, you know, he
hate it. I don't want to do it.
I find it's I don't know. To me, there's just no pros to it.
Yeah,
I absolutely know that I can do those 3 lifts on the same day. Doing them on the same day in training there's no advantage to me. Right. And it's all just possible negatives. If shit goes badly, especially if it goes badly in the squat, and it's going to carry through it all, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I chatted with Mike, and I think I can't remember what the last one was, but kind of like more of like a 10-day out sort of thing for squat and deadlift, and then 8 days out or so for bench. But I think I need to modify that, because after the last 2 meets, I found that my squats feel monstrously heavy by the competition. I think it's because my last squat is too far out. So I think I need to kind of get my squat a little closer. Have you ever played around with that at all with yourself?
So I remember like War of the West. This would have been like 2015, 2016. That was probably the hardest I've trained into.
Read the trophy behind you.
Oh. 2017.
Okay, there you go.
Turns out. That was the heaviest and hardest I've trained into a meet ever. And the advantage of that was everything felt like whatever on meet day. Nothing felt, even my third squat, like didn't feel heavy. And like the day before, just for reference, I think I squatted 290 or 295 at the meet. The day before I was doing like doubles and triples or sets of 4 or whatever with 220. Like I literally hit every set, every session, full intensity all the way through. And I think lifted, the day before I competed, maybe took 1 day off. So I've played around a lot with that kind of a taper before, like the non-taper taper. But the opener day, so generally what I'll do is the Monday before I compete, or somewhere around 5 days out, I'll do all my openers. And then somewhere around 2 or 3 days out, I'll go in and go up to my last raw warm up and just like take a single and go home. Like it's very, very minimal the amount of work I'll actually do. And I know for a fact that my openers will feel worse than they should. If my openers feel good, I will be maybe terrified of how the meet will go. Because I've done this so many times, and I know that I'm going to go in and I'm going to hit my openers and I'm going to be like, ugh, like that didn't feel like it should. But that at the same time, that not feeling like it should means it felt like it should, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's like that's kind of the, I don't know, ritual or the habit that I've gotten into with meets. So I think that's something I can kind of rely on. And especially when travel is whatever, you know, like it might be like Dubai was a lot of travel. So I did my openers before I left and then traveled for like 2 days, did my one like up to warm-ups session, and then went and competed, and it went pretty well. Nationals, same kind of thing. Did my openers before I left, and yeah, I just kind of played around with my schedule, but that layout seems to work for me.
Yeah. The last workout up to last raw warm up. Yeah. Mike told me he said that's what you should do. And I said, well, my last raw squat is 175 kilos and my last raw bench is 175 kilos. So is that what you want me to do? Like, I put my suit on pretty darn early. So
yeah, I think I go to like 225 squat now. Yeah. And a 175 bench and like maybe even a 275 deadlift.
Right. I put my gear on so early. I think basically 175 on all 3 would be my last raw warm up sort of thing. And I might have my deadlift suit on before that, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe you just go up to like your last equipped warm up?
I don't know. I kind of played it by ear.
Like
the last couple times it would just be, just kind of do something that feels okay.
Yeah.
Leave it there.
Feels like okay / a bit heavy-ish. Like go to 80% for something.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to feel heavy for sure. Like, yeah, without a doubt. But yeah, I know, it's interesting. It's peaking and tapering is always a very interesting topic.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we toss it over to our interview now?
Yeah.
We have a pretty fantastic interview that we just recorded with a gentleman named Oliver Dahlkvist, and hopefully I'm saying his name right. But this is second year as an open, so he's just kind of coming up through the scene. He's a Swedish lifter. You may or may not have heard of him, but he's hit some really huge lifts as a 93 in training lately. So he's been competing since 2013, since he was 17 years old, which I find is pretty cool to start that young and compete for as long as he has. He's done a ton of meets, 4 or 5 meets, I think, each year since then, and most of them single ply. So on the right team here. Like I said, he's hit some huge lifts in training recently, which actually have been over the world record in both squat and bench press for his weight class. And I think just kind of a good guy with some interesting insights, very competitive sort of mindset, and really enjoyed sitting down and chatting with him. Excited to see what he can do in the future here. But we hope you enjoy. If you have any questions for us, as per usual, hit us up at equippedbruisedtired@gmail.com or just message one of the two of us or leave a comment on YouTube, depending on where you choose to consume this content. And you know what? I've never plugged this before, but go ahead and give us a 5-star rating and review somewhere for something. Give us a thumbs up on the video. I don't know. Maybe if we say that, people will do it.
That might be on our outro. I don't know.
Do it twice.
Thumbs up and smash that like button.
Smash
and
that like button.
Ding that bell and some about a subscribe button too.
Yes. All right. Enjoy our interview. We'll see everybody next time. Thanks for joining us, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast. We appreciate having you here.
Thanks for being here. It's so fun.
Giving us some of your time. So basically, I just kind of wanted to start off getting into what got you into lifting, because I looked through your sort of open IPF database, and you've been lifting since you were 17, right?
Yeah,
or
that's right.
Thereabouts. So like a pretty substantial amount of time, despite being really young. So it looks like you've done like 4 or 5 meets a year since you started, whether they're bench only or full power. What got you started with powerlifting? What got you into it at such a young age?
I actually played football when I was a very young age.
Like American style football?
No, soccer.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Everybody throws around different definitions.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clear
so
up.
for your guys, I think it's soccer.
Gotcha.
So I was playing roughly 10 years, but when I was like 14 years old, I got the knee injury.
Okay.
And I've been had a operation for my knee 3 times.
Oh, damn.
After that, so yeah, the last operation, the doctor said to me I couldn't play anymore. So I actually fell into powerlifting because I needed to be stronger in my legs again.
Right.
So that's actually where I started, and then I came across a guy at the gym that told me, "Do you want to be in a competition and just like for benching, I have fun?" I said, "Okay, I can do the bench, but I can't deadlift or squat anything because I was still like 3 weeks out of the operation."
Right.
So he just said, "Okay, of course you can bench, but then we'll have a look later." And then I did my first meet 2014, I think.
Yeah, 2013 or 14, I think I saw.
Yeah, I think so. And that was just like raw bench.
Okay.
And then it all started from there. Just got really stuck with it and loved putting more weights on the bar.
So I see a lot of people get into powerlifting pretty young, and some people tend to have like a lot of success and they kind of like blow up, but then they don't stick around for very long. And you're going on 7 years of competing. So what do you think has kept you in the sport so long? Like what keeps your attention and keeps you interested in continuing to do those same 3 lifts over and over and over again?
I think it's crazy to say I think it's so fun to do the lift over and over again because I really love to do it. It's the big thing of the day. I just want to go to the gym every day. So, and then I think I have always set the goals for me. I want to achieve different kind of goals in powerlifting and different kind of weight goals, and that always keep me like on the track to always stay in the sport and always keep me on the like competing track as well. Like always compete at least 3 to 4 times a year, at least 2 powerlifting meets and maybe 2 bench meet just. But that I think is the reason and always kept my motivation very high.
Interesting. Have you had times where like you're just not feeling motivated at all? Like how is this whole, I mean, I guess Sweden didn't lock down like a lot of other places did, or at least not the same way, right?
Yeah, they was told about a lockdown here, but they didn't do anything about it. There was very much talk about they should close the gym or close the grocery stores and stuff like that, but they never did it actually here.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, still Worlds was canceled just recently, and some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how has this whole experience been for you? Trying to cope with maybe not having any big competitions for a while, right? And I know you're like putting up big numbers, like you're really strong right now. So you must be chomping at the bit to compete. What's that like for you?
So when I just found out, like was it in May, I think, or March, and when there was the European Championships, then I got the message that we shouldn't compete and all that kind of. That got me really upset right then. But then I think that's everybody in the world is like affected by all the coronavirus and nobody can compete like for now. But I wasn't expecting that the worlds either would be able to actually stand when they come to the November. So I have already set my mind for not competing, but I always want to be ready at least.
Yeah. And that hasn't really made it any harder to get to the gym and get your sessions in or anything?
No, really not. I still like to do my equipment lifting and do my numbers, so I really love that, and I will always like trying to do my next goals maybe in the gym this time, but next time it will be at competition at least.
That's cool, man. I admire that kind of like unshakable love for it.
Just jumping back to your soccer or football and your knee injuries. Has that ever sprung back up with powerlifting, or has it been the strengthening the knees or the quads been able to help that?
They've been helping so much. I could always feel like when I had my first operation, I could feel like always a little bit of pain and always my mobility in my knee joints and my hips was really not that good. But like after the third operation, when I just called out and said I couldn't play anymore, and I started to powerlifting more and more, then I really felt that my mobility in my hips and my knee was so much better. And the only thing I can feel right now is maybe sometime that my hamstrings is on my left leg, I think it is. Yeah, left leg is like little bit weaker than my right one. But otherwise, I can't feel anything right now.
All right. Good. So was it like ACL issues? Is that?
Yeah. It was the ACL that was off 2 times, and the third time it was the screw that was stuck to the ACL lid that was going off.
Oh. Damn, dude. Just really wanted to get rid of that ligament, hey?
Yeah.
Do you think... So you said you played soccer for 10 years. So do you think running for 90 minutes at a time has what's led you to such good squatting capabilities? Because obviously that would make your legs huge.
Yeah, I think that needs to be my like very, very ground pull, that very start to my powerlifting at least. So I think the strength that come from my legs will come from the soccer. And like I had to start all over from like the hips and upwards. So big legs and no over body.
Right. As a former soccer player prior to powerlifting, I definitely I can definitely identify with that. Been working hard for the bench.
Yeah, really much.
But I feel like you've been really successful with the bench, especially lately. Like I looked into your past meet results, and I think best squat previously was 365 and best bench was 282.5. And I've seen you in training doing a 400 kilo squat pretty memorably recently, and doing some like bench work in the 320 to 330 mark. Like that's huge progress, man. What do you think has led to that kind of progress in the last year or so? Are you just kind of finding a groove with training, or is there something that you've changed? Or
I actually changed my training system in, I think it was in August or September last year.
Okay.
I started with the RPE training with Alexander Eriksson.
Okay.
I have him coach since 2016. So when we started to try the new RPE system, I felt like it was a next level change for me. I could push myself so much harder. I could push the weight so much further, and that I think that's maybe was the next level for me at least.
Interesting. And what do you think of, or like what have been kind of the biggest differences when you say like RPE system versus what you used to do? Like what are some of those differences maybe you could highlight for us and how the training has changed?
I think that the training sessions before was very much between like 60 to 87% of the max capability.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I think I'm always around like RP 8 to, sometimes 10. Because
I get that.
because every week I think, okay, I did like a 200 kilo bench press raw, and then I need to, okay, next week I want to be even better, but I need it to look as easy as the last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually competing with myself every week
Okay.
instead of like have the same week for week in the old system that we have.
Interesting.
So now I'm pushing myself even harder, and sometimes it's like it should be RP 8 or 8.5, and it looks like maybe a 9.5. Then
Right.
I need to like look at the weight again and think, okay, maybe I should take it a bit easier, or should I just push even harder so it looks like a RP 8?
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. It sounds like that's kind of let you like harness and use a lot of that sort of competitiveness that you seem to have, and allowed you kind of apply that drive into your training by making those adjustments on the fly.
Yeah, I really love to actually compete overall. So
Mm-hmm.
could I even compete now every day in my sessions? That was the best part of it, I think.
Yeah, it's cool.
So previously you would come in and you'd already have like a percentage set for what you're supposed to do. Like maybe it's supposed to be an 85% squat kind of day. Is that what it was? It was very regimented.
That was like the old system.
Right.
So that was like, maybe 70 to 85%, and then we go like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 reps, and I was pretty much done after a few sets of that. And I always like feeling fresh after the sessions, and always got a bit more to actually feel that I could push myself further than I couldn't as I'm doing right now. Because the sessions that I have now, I'm feeling tired and maybe a little bit sore afterwards. But I didn't feel it at all.
Right. So going back to that 400 kilo squat, was that in your plan? Was that in your mind that day? Or was it just one of those good RPE days and you wanted to go for it?
No, it was actually, it's a pretty funny story, because I should do like 2 reps RP 8 that day, and it wasn't maybe a 2 reps RP 8, but like 2 weeks before, I felt I did 2 reps at I think it was like 380 or 385, felt really good. So I actually told someone at the gym that maybe I should try the 400 squat right now when I'm feeling really strong. And the guy just told me, yeah, sure, go for it. I'm like, I don't really know, should I not? But I don't believe you can do it. Okay, I'll try. So I told more and more people that will do the 400 kilo squat, and like try to like pursue out that more and more people should know that I will try the 400. So the pressure will be higher and higher for me to not fail.
Right.
So I wanted the pressure to, really wanted to, like, okay, everybody's looking now. I can't fail this weight. And then I told like Alexander Eriksson that, you know what, this week I will do a single at like 400 kilos and have a try on that. And he just told me, yeah, I knew it. It will come sooner or later. So I just make the day, think that, okay, I will do the 400 and I will feel how it's feel. And it went really good, I think. It felt really good on the back as well.
Yeah. No, it was a really good squat, man. I kind of want to get a little bit more into your training in that shift. You said you started using more RPE, going a bit heavier more often. How did that impact how often you were in your equipment? Did you end up in your equipment more often, or was it the same kind of use of the equipment, or did that change at all?
No, it was the same as the usual system,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I'm going much heavier now in the equipment than before.
Okay.
And I'm not really struggling. Like if I don't feel like I can hit the depth correctly, then I will just take it as like it is, and put on more weight instead of really pushing myself down for just like the hardness.
Right.
That's just I think it's too, like, I'm getting too sore in my back when I'm always pushing myself like at least 10 to 15 centimeters. The last, if I have like 355 or 365 on the squat, it's too hard to really push down the last depth.
Mm-hmm. And so what does that look like for you? Like you said that you're just finishing up a block with equipment. You're going to do another block with equipment.
Yeah.
In those blocks, are you in equipment every week, or is it every other week, or just kind of at the end of the block, or how's that structured?
It's every other week.
Okay.
I have it right now. So I have a week with equipment and then a week off. But then I will always do like the days I have the equipment. The next week I will have like the same movement, just heavier raw squats and bench and deadlift.
Okay, cool.
Excuse me. Sticking with your training a little bit, I saw you doing some chains on deadlifts and some pin squats on squats.
Yeah.
Are those a couple of variations that you really find effective? Is there any other variations you kind of like?
I think that the pin squat is very fun because I think it's like starting off with the movement at the bottom positions, especially like keeping your chest and the hips on the right place. I think it's like when you're coming the wrong position in the squat suit, for example, I feel like the pin squat actually helps me keep up my chest a lot more than just normal squats.
Mm-hmm.
And for the deadlift with chains, that's a really good, I think, because I have some struggle with the balance in the lockout sometimes. So that helps a lot when the chains just releases from the floor.
Right.
I saw you did like 277.5 for a triple on the pin squat just recently.
Yeah.
And I was looking at that and I was like, man, how like when I'm good in equipment, there's no chance I'm like pin squatting over 600 pounds. You know what I mean? Like I find my bottom end does suffer a little bit when I'm in equipment.
Yeah.
I guess maybe there's something to that structure of like week on, week off, but do you find that you're usually pretty strong just in both? Or do you find that, you kind of peak in one direction or the other?
No, I'm feeling like when I'm strong in equipment, I'm really strong raw as well.
Interesting.
But I can also feel like some days when I'm feeling like, oh shit, the raw squat is feeling right really at the bottom. And I'm feeling like 260 is feeling like heavy on the back. And then when I'm put on the equipment, it's just everything is feeling light.
Yeah.
Those days are not so often, but it happens. Right. But I think it's like more when my raw lift is very strong, I'm feeling strong as well with the equipment.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just like there's that emphasis of the bottom position in the pin squat, and I feel like that's the specific part that I start to struggle with when I'm in my equipment. So I don't know. Maybe I just need to pair my equipped squats with some pin squats. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's the secret weapon.
Secret weapon, yeah, for sure.
So going back to your start of your career, you basically did bench only because of your knees, but you've continued to do quite a few bench onlys, and now you're handling 30 or 40 kilos more than 40 kilos more than you've benched in competition to boards. Do you find that the board work has a good carryover into your bench? Sorry, I'm kind of rambling question there, but your bench is looking very strong, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Are we going to see like the world record? I think is 320 and a half.
Yeah, it is.
93s, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean you've surpassed the squat world record in training now, and you're handling well above the bench world record now. Yeah, I guess tell us how that bench is moving so nicely, and what kind of secrets you have going there.
I actually changed the bench shirt for, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks ago, or maybe even more. And then because I had a new shirt, the red one that I'm lifting right now, I couldn't even get as a like 300 or 310. I couldn't even make it move when I got it out. I just like hurt, and I didn't couldn't even take my hands out to the rings properly, and I got help just to put it out, and the shirt was just actually crap. So I thought that, okay, I will never even have the shirt on again. I will give up. And then I had the shirt with me at the session, and I forgot my other shirt. I was okay. Then I need to have shirt on again. Well, oh shit, it won't be good anytime soon. And then I actually tried it on, and it felt really good that day. And then just like that, it felt like I could give you so much more than my other shirts. But it's actually the same size as my other shirt and my competition shirts, especially. But the difference is I have the suit in the arms, like 2 centimeters.
Right.
That gives me a lot of pressure on the triceps, I think.
Right. So the new shirt, the arms are taken in quite a bit, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like 2 centimeters on each arm.
That's pretty significant.
I've got to go do some sewing. I'll be right back.
And you don't wear a belt for bench press, which is fairly uncommon, I guess. Do you find that the belt affects your arching, or do you just like that it gives the freedom to let the shirt kind of move where it wants to?
It's actually both, because when I have the belt on, I can not even arch a little bit. I think my back is just like a rock. I can't even move. And as you say, my bench shirt can slip up a little bit when I'm pulling down. And I think that helps me a lot with my path in the bench when I'm pulling it down.
Right.
And a lot easier to come down with the bar. I think so, at least.
Interesting. So tighten your sleeves, kids.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
That's the secret. Then you will also do a 350 bench.
Yeah.
And I saw some I won't say call them like board complexes. So multiple reps changing board heights. Is that something you guys incorporate a lot with the bench?
Oh, we always do it like the last set, just to really push out the last movement of the triceps and feel that you can, even though you are tired after some singles at a heavier weight, that you can push those out as well, just for feeling that shouldn't be a problem for you. But I really like it. Then we will always start with 6 centimeters and work up to maybe 8 or 12.
Right.
Mm-hmm. When you're doing your heavier singles and stuff, like your heaviest shirted bench work, are you using boards almost always as a target? Or are you kind of because I don't know if you've seen my training, but I basically ghost board. So I just go to kind of wherever I can get it to. What are your thoughts on those two different strategies, and which do you use?
I always use board, so I can I never feel where I am. That's maybe my main problem, because when I'm taking down the bar, I just wait to hear the press command.
Right.
So just take it down and just wait for the command, and then I'll press when I get it.
Right.
And if that's the board or that's the chest, I don't really know the difference.
Okay.
I think I can't feel the real difference between like 4 centimeters and my chest.
Right. You just kind of black out on the way down and wait till somebody tells you what to do.
Exactly.
Nice.
just say it to me. But I've seen when you're benching, you're doing like use as like you said, just ghost benching with nothing at all.
Yeah.
Is that because you're alone at your gym, or just because you like it?
I think I like it. I think I've used that with some clients, and I'm back and forth. I don't necessarily think that one is better than the other. It kind of depends on the lifter. But I've seen a lot of lifters get really good at doing board presses. Yeah. And it seems to be a very different movement. Like they come down, they really sink into the boards and kind of like use that pop instead of just using it as a guide. And, maybe there's a difference in intent with the exercise when it's performed differently. But for me, it helps me get more used to what it's going to take to touch. And I can play with different heights without having to have somebody hold boards. And it to me seems a lot more like the sort of competition bench. Like the bar path or the difference is noticeable when I put a board there and when I'm aiming for a board versus when I'm just like bench pressing. So I think for me, I like both. I actually have done a fair bit of board work in my shirt, but for me, I think the ghost board stuff, especially as somebody starting equipment later in their career, really helped me kind of work through the bar path and how the bar came down in a shirt a little bit differently.
Nice.
Yeah. I think two people use the board as kind of like an assistance, and they will almost dump to the boards like too quick and then get that spring off the chest. So I think it depends how you use them, if you use them properly or you use them kind of a little cheaterly sort of. I think there's definitely benefits to them, but they can be used to really add some assistance, I think.
Yeah. I feel like watching your bench though, Oliver, it seems like you got a pretty light touch, like you're pretty controlled on the descent and that kind of thing. So you probably, like you said, you don't really notice much difference between the boards or not. So yeah, I think in those cases, there's probably more similarities than differences.
Yeah. It was like, I haven't actually posted this video yet because I was holding on it.
Exclusive cut here on EBT.
Yeah. So I was actually now on this week I was up and doing a single at 330. So that was just to like a 2 centimeters board, and the struggle down was too hard. Right. But it was like I didn't notice if it was even 6 centimeters or the chest. I just waited for it, and I think like from 6 centimeters down and to like 2 centimeters, it took felt forever. But it was maybe like 5 to 6 seconds, and then the way up was actually okay. It's not the best speed on it, but it was just fine. But it's like I feel the difference between how hot it is in the gym. I don't know about you guys, but when it's really hot, like summer outside or winter outside, my equipment is like totally different on me then.
Okay, yeah. I definitely notice when I'm a lot more sweaty, things like slip around a lot more,
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I get sticky. Like gear will just stick in place and it won't move when it's too hot.
Yeah.
I think I'd actually prefer that. Or just use the Ukrainian method and just chalk anywhere that the equipment touches, right? And just stick it right in place.
I'll do that next time.
All I'm thinking, the last like 10 minutes of this conversation, all I've been thinking is like, man, I really got to go tighten my sleeves. I got to compete next weekend. I got some goals for bench at the very least. So I'm gonna tighten my sleeves again. Thank you for inspiring me, Oliver.
I will send a photo how I did.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I think that's a good segue. We'll kind of get into talking a little bit about the equipment itself. We got a segment that we call Gearhead, so we're going to ask you a bunch of questions about your equipment specifically. Yes. And if there's anything that you don't want to talk about, that's kind of like a trade secret or something, that's fine. We can edit that out or whatever. But yeah, so with your equipment, can you walk us through kind of what you use, whether it's stock or custom, and all that kind of stuff, just a basic sort of run through?
Sure. I'm using a Super Centurio on the squats, and training I'm using a size 40, and like competition 38.
Oh man,
And
I could get a tighter suit too.
You're 120 now, Bryce. You're okay.
Yeah,
I know, but I was
I'm
using
just
so you're a pretty big 93 though, Oliver. Like, what do you walk around at?
I'm rocking around right 95, 96, I think. But then I
Okay.
will always use my 40 squat. I
Right.
think I'm using my 40 squat so much more than my 38 because I like lifting it much more. I feel more comfortable and I feel like I got more power in it.
Mm-hmm. Because you
So
don't have to like give up as much technique to try to make the suit work, kind of thing.
yeah, and I think like the length and the legs, it's a bit longer than my 38
Okay. Do you use a regular stance or a wide stance?
regular stance.
Okay.
But
I think generally the regular stance legs are a bit longer, actually.
yeah, I think so too. I did use a wide stance when I was starting with the equipment, and that I thought was too much, like it was too much shortened in my legs compared to a normal regular stance 38.
So was that 400? Sorry, going back. Was that 400 in your 40 or your 38?
40.
Wow. Okay.
Boy. 410 Worlds 2021. You heard it here first.
Hopefully.
And what about your bench shirts? Like, what do you use and what sizes?
I'm using a like low cut size 44, I think. Yeah, 44. That's like the only shirt I got actually. My training shirt is always it's also a 34, but like I haven't for. I think I had actually my first competition with it.
Okay, so you've been using it since you were
in the 93, not like 2016.
Oh, okay.
So maybe my old second bench shirt it is,
Okay.
and it's still working pretty fine.
Nice.
I could put on in like a t-shirt, so that's good.
So you don't have the sleeves taken in on that one?
No,
Okay.
nothing.
And what about for deadlifting?
Deadlift I'm using a Velocity size 40. But that is pretty much I suit in the legs, in the straps, and the waist as well.
Oh, okay. So that was, I mean, that's our next question is about modifications. Do you sew a lot of your stuff and play around with tightening and loosening and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm not sewing because I'm really bad at it, but my grandmother is.
Nice. That's awesome.
So she's doing all my equipment sewing. All right. So I have like in my squat, I'm just in my 40, I think I'm using only the straps.
Mm-hmm.
And in my competition suit, the 38, I'm using the straps on the waist.
Okay. So you kind of take it in along the hip line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From like the hip line to up to my armpit.
Okay. Yeah.
All the way.
And for the bench shirt, obviously you're taking in those sleeves pretty aggressively.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then for the deadlift suit, you just kind of
everything. Yeah, pretty much everything. But I just for the last week I tried the sewing the legs, and I think it's helped a little bit, but it's still like going up every time I'm lifting it. So I don't really know how I should modify that to be better right now.
I don't know if there is a solution for that.
I think if you figure that out, you'll make some money.
Yeah. A little bit of chalk on the thighs might be the trick.
Yeah, try that as well. But yeah, I could do maybe like 4 or 5 sets maximum in it, and then it's like all like a bikini on me.
Yeah, I find the same thing with my deadlift suit. And actually, so when I went down and I got some custom stuff made by Titan, I had them make me a deadlift suit with longer legs. And I just found that was super awkward. Like I almost wanted it to ride up more, because that's more used to how I'm kind of like, more like how I'm used to pulling with the legs pretty high. So I got the legs a little bit lower, and I found I just like would get hunched over and kind of pulled out of position way more.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like there's a real sweet spot with that, like how much it rides up, and that you can definitely have it ride up too much for sure.
Yeah. If I try to keep them low, then they like roll on me. They don't even slide up. They just kind of roll up. And that's the worst.
Yeah, mine do a combination of rolling and sliding. So they're like doubled over on the cuff, but also super high up. I get the best parts of the quads from deadlifting.
Yeah. So bench went over. What knee wraps do you like?
I like the inserts, the black and red ones.
Okay. Iron Z's, I think they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I actually tried the Signature Gold recently.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's too hard to wrap myself in it. So I really can't get any wraps around my knees in. I think it's maybe like 7 or 6 wraps around. Yeah. And the inserts I can easily do like 9 at least, maybe 10.
Damn. Okay.
Do you always wrap yourself in training?
Yeah, in training I do like up to 380 maybe. I have 2 girls that can wrap me, but otherwise, after that, I need to wrap myself.
Right.
So that I'm missing at the gym. Someone that can really wrap me hard.
The Swedes have a strong wrap team.
Yeah,
as I experienced in 2018 there.
Yeah, you tried Eric's wrapping in Dubai.
Yeah, I had little scabs on the backs of my knees for like 3 weeks afterwards. Because he would lay them down and then like reef them really tight, which like whatever. At the time I was like, that's a good solid wrap. Afterwards I was like, oh man, my knees are so yeah. And then when you're squatting, are you using flats or heels, or do you have like a?
I'm using heels.
Yeah.
Like Nike Romaliers.
Okay, so like a full sort of like weightlifting.
Yeah.
Cool. Then we have the next segment is questions from our listeners. So we put out a couple posts on our Instagram, and we got a few questions back in here. So first one is, and I assume this is a yes, but will we see you at IPF Worlds in 2021? And will we see 400 plus on the bar?
Yes, I will be in the competition, and hopefully I will do over 400 as well.
Well, if you continue the way you are, I think you'll be opening there. So
yeah, you might be opening at 400 if things keep up, man.
We will see in like 5 weeks, maybe. Then we'll have the real answer on that.
Do you have a competition coming up?
No, but I will do a mock meet in 5 to 6 weeks when I will try even bigger weights than I've ever been doing. So then we will see how far it goes.
That's exciting, man. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I have some weights in my head, but we will see if they go as planned.
Well, now's a good time to get them all out there and put that pressure on yourself. I know you like to.
I think I will try at least like 415 or maybe even 420 on squat.
Damn, dude.
And like bench, I will hopefully do maybe in 330, 340 maybe. And like deadlift, maybe 315, 320. And that will be a pretty solid total, I think.
I was going to say that would be a very
solid total.
So. But we will see.
We got a question here from, I think, somebody at your gym, and they were wondering who gives the best lift off.
I know who this guy is. I only have one guy at the gym that can give me the lift offs. So that's like I have to adapt my training time when he is at the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm never like lifting off myself.
Yeah.
I was like resting my arms on the bar. Like he have to lift all the.
Oh, he lifts the whole thing out.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So you're one of those people. Oh,
those guys are the worst.
Yeah, so that's the only reason that I'm training like with equipment when he's around, so he can lift off with me.
He must so he has a good deadlift then. Yeah.
Yeah. He has strong hands at least.
Yeah.
I've asked him if he could like do the 400 lift off, and he told me that wouldn't be a problem. So maybe in some days I will try it.
Maybe he should wrap you then.
He's got a really good high rack pull. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. 400 rack pull. That's pretty solid.
We actually got another question, and we'll see if we can figure out who this is from. I'll tell you afterwards. But have you started eating vegetables yet?
I know who this is. I think it's like Alexander Eriksson.
Yeah, it's your coach.
Yeah. This was actually at the national camp we had with all the lifters, and we had like a nutrition coach at the speaker, and she was always like, yeah, you have to eat your vegetables, you have to eat like a minimum of 100 grams of like tomato a day. And yeah, she told, is there anybody that don't eat any vegetables? And I'm just, yeah, that's me. So yeah, I'm not good at it. I'm very bad at eating my vegetables, but at least I'm eating all the other stuff.
That's good. It seems to be working for you, so
yeah. I mean,
yeah. Maybe that's
all right. Tighten bench or tighten shirt sleeves. Stop eating vegetables. That's right.
Do you have any tips on the mental aspect of going from raw to equipped training? And how do you approach weights that are so far above your max?
I think it's like I'm not thinking so much on the weight on the bar. I'm just thinking that, okay, now it's time. I have to do like my thing and going in my zone. I think, okay, it's just me and the bar. Now it's just like pushing myself, and I know I can do it. Like I'm always telling myself that I can have done it in training, even though I haven't done it in training. Like starting to lie for myself. And
so that 400, you're like, we've done this so many times before. Let's go.
Yeah. Of course. I just this was not even the first time I was under the bar with 400, and then I realized afterwards, well, oh shit, this was the first time.
All right,
but so always like try to like just get in the mental zone and not thinking so much about the weights.
Do you use like visualization at all? Like coming to that 400, were you like visualizing the lift beforehand?
Yeah, weeks before.
Yeah.
That's like starting right now. I'm always like when I'm out taking a walk or just making dinner or anything, I'm just visualizing my squats or bench or deadlift to go like my trial 415 or 420 in a few weeks. Just trying to look how it will go and maybe even think about, okay, then I will go down, hit the depths, come up easily. How would it feel? Will it even go as planned? Yeah. So that's pretty much, I'm having very much thoughts about my lift every day.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know if you use like headphones or what the sort of like gym culture is where you train, or if everybody, kind of listens to the same music, but somebody asked about your favorite like training album or music that you like to lift to. Do you have any music recommendations?
I actually use the same song every time I need to push myself that extra %. So like before a heavy lift on the like the 400 kilo squat or the last week's 350 bench, I use the same monster with the skillet that will come up at the same time and like starting to wrap my knees. So, and then everybody at the gym at least knows, okay, shit, now it's for real. Oliver will lift heavy, but otherwise I can listen to everything.
Okay.
That's depends on who got the like speaker on the gym. Sometimes it like Disney, and sometimes it's Rammstein. And
did you say sometimes Disney?
Yeah. It could be like this.
The Frozen soundtrack.
Let it go.
Yeah, yeah. That actually came up a few sessions ago when I was deadlifting.
Nice.
I'm not letting this go.
All right, so Monster by Skillet, and I'm not even familiar with that song, so I'll have to go
I
listen
just
to it
had to
after.
look it up. Yeah, I see it here. I don't think I've ever heard it before. Is Skillet like where are those guys from?
I have no idea. I'm so bad at music. When I found this song, I just think, okay, it felt like just on my body's okay. Now you have to get ready. Now you have to be in your zone.
Looks like they are from Memphis, Tennessee. I thought for some reason I might not have heard of them because they were like a European band or something.
No, I don't think there are.
No.
Where did you come from? Did you say?
Yeah, they're American. They're from Tennessee.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Now you know. Learning all kinds of things today here.
Yeah.
So next up, where do you see the future of equipped lifting in Sweden?
I actually think it will be almost like the same as it's now. But I also think that more and more people will try at least equipment. We are just like one today at the gym that tried equipment for the first time. So I think more and more people will try to at least try the equipment. But yeah, many people think it's so much easier with the raw lifting. But I say, I mean, if you want to lift even heavier weights, then you need to put the equipment on if you like to lift heavy. And then we always get a little bit triggered. So,
What, don't you like to lift heavy?
yeah, it's like, do you don't like to drive fast? Then you can't drive a Volvo. Then you need a Ferrari.
Yeah, I get that.
It's like the same thing.
We had another one about like a normal week of training. What does a normal week of training look like for you? And they asked, like, do you do a lot of accessories, or are you just kind of more like hyper specific? Maybe frequency, some of that kind of stuff.
I think it's very much now at the same moments right now at like Mondays, or it's session 1. It's like squat and bench, maybe some dumbbell press afterwards. I don't have any so much accessories right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then session 2 would also be like deadlift, heavier deadlift, and then some back workout after that. Maybe 2 or 3 accessories. And like session 3 will always be like easier workout, so I can recover a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then session 5, it's right now it's the pin squat, so
Yep.
that's pretty heavy session as well. And then some heavy like board presses after that, and maybe some back workout there as well, just some easy to prepare for the deadlift at the last session. So I think I'm like squatting 2 to 3 times a week, and deadlifting 2 times a week, benching maybe 4 times a week, I think.
So is that 5 workouts a week? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, 5 workouts a week.
Right.
Cool.
And having seen you posted a story a few weeks ago about doing chin-ups, and you have like ridiculously large, like I don't know if they're your lats or your teres major. Like there's some sort of like baseball on the back of your shoulders. Is that where your squat comes from, or do you bench only with those? I don't understand.
I actually have no idea.
Do you do a lot of like pull down chin up sort of movements?
I do like a barbell rows. I do
Okay.
a lot of barbell rows. I do a lot of not so much chin ups. Actually, just lat pull down. So if that counts.
Yeah,
counts for us heavy guys. Chin ups are like a 2 at 10 kind of thing, I think.
1 at 10, 1 at negative.
Yeah. No, otherwise I like the rows with dumbbells.
Right.
But I think we will need to make new dumbbells at the gym or buy new ones.
Running out of weight.
Yeah, because like the heaviest weight we have at the gym right now is 53 kilos.
Yeah.
So that even, also you need to at least 70 or 80 kilos to push yourself even harder. But
I don't think I've ever done 80-kilo dumbbell rows before. That's pretty impressive.
but we'll see if I could get those.
Just got to visualize it. Tell yourself you've done it before.
That's right.
Yeah, lie to myself.
And the last question we had from our listeners was, will you or Nick Lentz squat 400 in competition first?
Ooh.
Is there a rivalry there? You guys?
I'm actually Licky Lentz very good, and we are pretty good friends because I'm actually born in Denmark, so I speak fluent Danish as well. So we speak very much at the competitions.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say the first one that will squat 400 kilo is probably the guy with the best number in the, what do you call it?
The lot.
The lot, yeah. But if he don't open at least 400 kilos next meet, then maybe it will be me.
You heard it here first. The gauntlet has been thrown. There could be a lot of 400 kilo opening deadlifts in 93s. Worlds 2021 is going to be a spectacle.
I think squats, not deadlifts.
No, not deadlift from my.
Did I say?
You said deadlift.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. No, I meant squats. My bad.
I promise I will not deadlift 400 kilo.
Yet.
Yeah.
You gotta start visualizing it.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to hook grip first.
And maybe, I eat a lot of vegetables, so there might be something there. I try to, anyways. To be honest,
I haven't seen that on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't post.
Need to post more vegetables.
Not as exciting when I have my carrots and hummus with lunch. Cool. So we're gonna dive into our sort of last segment here, and we're gonna talk a little bit about some of the common questions. If you've listened before, you've heard us ask other people these questions. But what would you say first off is the highlight of your lifting career thus far?
The highlight will be the 400 kilo squat for sure. Yeah.
Okay, and to counter that, what would be the lowest point of your lifting career, and what did you learn from that experience?
The lowest point will be when it was a competition in 2015. I needed to be a good competition to qualify to the national team, but I actually bombed out in the deadlift.
I see that here. Yeah, 292 squat.
That wasn't even a fun day, but at least I talked to the national team coach, and he told me, despite the bad competition, I should be able to compete at the Nordic Championship next year. So that will be the very baddest moment or the worst memories in the career so far.
And is that the first and only time you've bombed out, it looks like?
Yeah, that's the only time I bombed out.
So what did you learn from that so that you never bombed out again?
I don't know what I actually learned about it, but I think it was don't go too heavy at your opener and deadlift. Mm-hmm. Don't be at the think that you can pull almost personal best at the opener and think, okay, maybe I should try to increase my total with 50 kilos or more just because you had a good block or something like that. Right. So always make your openers easy.
Right. It's a bit of a lesson in attempt selection there.
Yeah, for sure.
So who have been some of your biggest inspirations along the way? And it doesn't have to be powerlifting; it could be anyone, or it could be powerlifters. But who kind of has inspired you to excel the way you have?
I actually started when I was starting with powerlifting. I was much looking at Alexander Eriksson and Eric Gödekam, because those was the Swedish as a powerlifting guys that was always lifting heavy weights, and I thought, shit, that one day I will never end up like lifting. I know Eric lifted like 300 kilos in squat or some day, and I think, oh shit, that's heavy. And I was squatting like maybe 150 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually began to like, okay, if they can do it, I have to do this as well. So I always like not like hunted them to like competing with them, but I used them as motivation to actually lifting. Oh, my lifting should be better and better because I thought, okay, if they can do it, I can also do it, and that's the same. I first competed against like Dmitry and Sarkin from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
He has like crazy squat as well, and he's so fast, like down and up as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, if he can like just throw himself down with 390 on the back, then I should maybe try to throw myself down as well.
Is that your favorite squat cue now? Is throw yourself down?
Yeah, I think I need to like do that so I can actually get the momentum on the bar and the spring from the suit.
Right.
Because when I'm going too slow, I feel like it's just like wearing out and all the power is like gone in the bottom position.
Interesting.
And looking back, do you have a piece of advice you'd like to give yourself when you first started out? Like, is there anything that, looking back now, you'd like to say, you should do this?
I think it was like try to be more like calm in the start. Don't rush it. It takes time to develop the strength that you have today. I can see that in many younger people that they're too stressed to be like strong and want to develop their strengths like in just a month or two. So take it easy and just keep on with the good work, I think.
That's good advice. Now, have you ever had any kind of like close call with equipped lifting? What's been your like closest call, or have you had like an accident or something like that where the bar's maybe gone crashing to the floor or something like that?
I had the suit actually got the sewing in the suit on my right leg for now it's like 4 years ago. Actually popped on the way down.
Oh boy.
I succeeded to like rescue the squat. So I felt it like all the pressure just lost at the right leg.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like was not even close to death. So I can save that pretty easy.
Oh,
But
okay.
otherwise, it was a squat that it just 2 years ago, I think, like 295, 300 on the bar, and I didn't have any spotters. So and I didn't have any blocks on the side. I just me and one more at the gym at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and I accidentally took the rack heights a bit too high. So
Oh, no.
I couldn't come in with the bar. So I needed to like take it down on the bench rack instead.
At least you had a bench rack there.
You
So
good morninged it
I
down?
did like good morning it down, but instead of that, I was first like to try to get in with the bar in the racks, but it was like tipping over almost. Then I need to back with it again, and then I can tip it down.
Jeez.
So that I think it's the most worst memories with the equipment.
Well, that's good, man. Let's hope there are not more of those coming.
No, I don't want to do a Semenenko.
No, no.
Or Kim Reiner when he popped the suit.
Yeah.
And do you have any? Do you have one raw lifter you'd love to see go equipped?
One raw lifter. I actually saw Bryce Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like this morning I saw Bryce Lewis had done the equipped lift. I just, damn, he would be a really good guy in the 105. That could be really massive numbers on the board. Yeah. So if I could choose one, I think it was Bryce Lewis. I think will be really fun to see.
Yeah.
Doing some, but he would easily do like over 400 kilo squat, I think.
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, that was like a 342.5 or 347 or something.
Yeah.
And it was basically just like loose borrowed suit. I could see his knee popping out of his knee wraps.
Oh yeah.
He took it to like the basement and then just like just about jumped back up with it. It was like, okay, yeah.
It was really crazy.
403 sessions in the suit, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, that'd be super cool.
That'd be really cool if you could see him, because he's really strong in the bench and deadlift as well.
Yeah, super well rounded.
Yeah.
And then our last question is whether or not you have any concrete sort of goals that you're aiming for right now. We spoke a little bit about those already, I think. But do you have anything like, I don't know, outside of powerlifting or even inside of powerlifting, anything that you're excited about that you want to plug or talk about?
Nothing right now in the powerlifting world. I have the numbers I told you guys that I will aiming for, and I think that I really would just right now want to be able to compete again, because I think now it's been like almost 1 year since the last competition, and I feel like, okay, when will be the next competition for me, and where will it be? Will it be like here back in Sweden, or will it be at the European or Worlds? So yeah. So I think it's just will be able to compete again.
Yeah.
Is there any competitions planned in Sweden?
There is actually a competition tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
But and I told myself that okay, maybe we can try to compete at that meet, but then I'm like, I can't like ask 5 guys from my gym to, hey guys, do you want to come over at someone else like our drive and like help me on a Sunday, because I want to try lift at the competitions, because they don't have any spotters that has like the experience to pass a spot 400 kilos or above.
Mm-hmm.
And like, as I told you, in the bench, I only have 1 guy that can lift off to me, and I couldn't like ask anybody else to handle 350 or less, or 340 maybe. They won't be able to lift it off. So I actually just called it this time, and will instead do like my mock meet in 6 weeks instead.
Yeah.
And then we'll see after that when the next competition will be.
Cool.
Hopefully soon, man.
Yeah.
I really hope so. I really want to compete right now.
I think a lot of people are feeling the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating as sometimes that you like having a good session and feeling strong and really want to just put on the numbers on the board or compete against someone,
Mm-hmm.
and not having that feeling right now.
I definitely get that, man. That's a big part of it for me. Is like, I really enjoy kind of being in, kind of like jostling around for position and seeing where things end up, and even just like competing with whatever, whoever's closest to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, not having that opportunity or having anything like that coming up it's an interesting sort of situation. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much what we got for you, man. So is there anything else you wanted to talk about or mention before we sign off? Where can people find you? Where can people check out the big bench that took 20 seconds that you're going to post soon?
That will be on my Instagram for sure, at Oliver Dahlkvist.
Okay.
That will be all my posts on the latest workouts, and soon maybe even going live on the mock day. We will see.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess again, thank you very much for hanging out with us and taking the time to chat.
Thank you for being with you and have this talk this night.
Okay. Well, have a good rest of your evening, and hopefully international competitions are a thing again, and we can cross paths and have another beer or something.
I really hope so too as well.
All right, buddy. Take care.
You too. See ya.
All right. We want to thank you for listening to the Equipped, Bruised, and Tired podcast. We're going to be available on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever fine podcasts are found. So make sure to leave your 5-star rating if you enjoyed the show and a review as well, and or check out our video version of the show on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions for ourselves, guest suggestions, or questions for our guests, you can go ahead and contact us at equippedbruisedtired@gmail.com, and make sure to do your part to spread the word of the Equipped Renaissance. We'll see you next time.